Okay, so today we're going to be going over validating credit card numbers, finding the check digit for credit card numbers, just like UPCs. We kind of did those. They're slightly different, but not too complicated. Now, just like UPCs, they're made up of numbers, right? That's those right there. And they're not just random numbers. They do actually mean something. That first number identifies the type of issuer, either MasterCard, Visa, Discover, Diners Club, things like that. The next set of numbers is the issuer. That could be the bank that you actually got your card from. So Citibank, Wells Fargo, Liberty Mutual, something like that. The account number, those next set of 9 digits right there, is your account number, and that's to make sure what your account is at that specific bank, or at Wells Fargo, or at Citibank, to make sure that they are charging or debiting the right account. And of course, the last number right there is the check digit. Just makes sure that all 15 of these numbers right here were entered, transmitted, or whatever correctly. The first question here says a Liberty Bank MasterCard number begins with 5, and then its bank number is 27546. The following 9 numbers are account numbers. What is the maximum number of credit cards a Liberty Bank MasterCard can issue? So this is a problem that we've done in the past, and it's just number of combinations. All right, so we have 9 numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that kind of signifies what I'm looking at. That's a set of 9 numbers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to write down the number of options that we have for each one of those. And the numbers can be anything from 0 to 9, which gives us a total of 10 choices for each one of these. So this would be 10, 10, 10, all the way through. And to figure out the number of combinations, we're going to multiply all those together. And there are 9 of them, so that'd be 10 to the 9th power. So that'd be a 1 with 9 zeros after it. There we go. So we got hundreds, thousands, millions, and so we have 1 billion different combinations of credit card numbers that Liberty Bank MasterCard could technically issue. Now, they're obviously not going to have 1 billion customers, but they have that option. Like UPC codes, credit card companies use a check digit to help validate numbers. The credit card companies use a CODA method, so that's a little bit different from UPCs. So to determine the check digit, this method consists of the following steps. Now, it is actually very, very similar to UPCs. So if you've already seen that video or done those problems, it's not a whole lot extra to it. And in fact, up to right here, it's exactly the same. It's really this step right here. It's just kind of an additional step before we find the check digit. All right, so just like UPCs, we have a weighted sum list. For credit cards, though, it's 21, 21, 21, 21. Now, you might be asking, how do we keep these things straight? Because if you remember, for UPCs, it was 31, 31, 31. So there's an easy thing here, right? If you look at UPCs, that is 3 letters, so we use the 3-1. For credit cards, that has initials. There are 2 of them, and that's why we use the 2-1, 2-1, and so on. Okay, so that's an easy way to keep them straight. UPC is 3 letters, credit card, CC is 2 letters. So that kind of helps keep that weighted sum list separated. So we're going to use that weighted sum list on the first 15 numbers. Again, just like UPCs, you don't do anything with the check digit as far as calculations. Then we're going to find the sum of that result. Now, the new step is right here. After we get that initial sum, right, that's multiplying column A times column B and then adding up all of column C, we're going to count how many of the numbers in the odd positions are more than 4. That is 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to add this back onto that sum up there. Right, so if I kind of look at a credit card over here for an example, to find the ones in the odd position that are greater than 9. This is the first position, so that's an odd position. There's a 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, right? That would be the 11th, 13th, and 15th position. Right? We just kind of count out those numbers. So if we look at 1, that is not greater than 4. 3 is not greater than 4. 5 is greater than 4, so that would be 1. All right, 7 is greater than 4, so that would be 2. 9 is greater than 4, so that would be 3. That is not, that is not, that is not. So the number of odd positions that are greater than 4 would be 3 of them. Okay? So down here it says, after that, so up here we would kind of add 3 on to our results. Then after that, just like UPCs, we would then calculate our check digit. And again, for the check digit, it's you're rounding your number up to the next number that ends in 0, and then figuring out what we have to add to our sum to get to that number. And so let's go ahead and take a look at an example. Number 2 says, show that the check digit D for the Visa card, this right here, is actually 3. So they're giving us our answer. They just want to make sure that we can do the math to make sure we get that answer. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the weighted sum list. The weighted sum list, again, is at 2, 1, 2, 1, just making sure that we remember what it is, because we got to use it. Okay, and now the first question it asks is the sum after the weighted sum list calculation. All right, so after I've applied this thing and added it together, all right, what do we actually get? So this is where our calculator comes in handy. All right, so we're going to grab our calculator and we're going to do this through a spreadsheet. So I'm going to 1 for new document, 4 for list and spreadsheet, and I'm going to go ahead and type in my numbers. All right, my numbers were 4, 1, 6, 2. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 9. All right, and if you notice, we did end up on 15 because there were 15 numbers. All right, and again, we never use the check digit, and so we're not using that 3 that we know is over there. So again, here in column B, that's where our weighted sum list goes. So 2. Okay, so 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way down. Looks good. Okay, and then don't forget, in column C, this is where we multiply our column A times column B. And again, we use that equal sign, and we're doing A1 times B1. Okay, and then, just like last time, I want to copy this formula down, right? That's A1 times B1. That says multiply this cell, A1, times this cell, which is B1, and put the result right there. So that's 4 times 2 is 8. All right, I know what 6 times 2 is. I know what 2 times 1 is, but I don't want to type these out. I want to use that formula there. So again, once I got it over here, on your calculator, I think you got to get down to that little plus sign there. And then either way, you're going to click in the middle over here and hold for a couple seconds, and then we can start arrowing down. When you see these dashes, that means you're ready to start copying. All right, and we're going to go all the way down to the bottom to the 15, and then hit enter. All right, and that copies that formula all the way down. And notice down here for this one, yes, 9 times 2 is 18. But this cell is not 18. This cell is A15 times B15. So that's this cell right here times this cell right there, and put it there. Now again, the next one, I want to go ahead and do my sum of that column. Again, sum is just equals. Always start off with equals, SUM. And we're going to do this all the way from the top, right? The very top of this thing is up here at C1. And so I'm going to do this from C1 all the way down to C15. So down here I'm typing from C1, and now I need the colon. Colon stands for 2, right? And that's in this button right here. And there's the colon, all the way down to C15. Right, and so that adds up all of these numbers right here. So I didn't have to add 8 plus 1 plus 12 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2, and so on down the list. It adds them all for me, and I get a sum of 93. So that is my sum after the weighted sum calculation is done. And now, I need the number of odd places that are bigger than 4. Now, there's a couple places we could do that. We could come up here and look at this thing and figure out the odd places and try and figure out which ones are bigger than 4. Now, one of the things I would say, what's kind of nice about the calculator, is I got the number right here, and all the places are listed right here. This is the first place, second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place. So I'm looking for all the odd numbers right here. when I find an odd for each one of those odd numbers, so 1, 3, and 5, I'm looking at the value right here, and is this value bigger than 4? So for the first position, no, it's not bigger than 4. For the third, it is bigger than 4, so that would be 1, and we're just going to kind of count off. All right, so I got 1. I'm going to go down 2 more places. Nope. 2 more. Nope. 2 more. Nope. 2 more. Yes. So that is now 2. 3 and 4. So there are 4 positions here that are greater than 4 that are in those odd positions, right? Odd position, but 4 is not greater than 4. Let me go through it one more time. Third position, that is greater than 4. So that's 1. Nope. 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 That was a no right there. That's a yes, so we're now at 2, 3, and 4. Right? I just keep kind of scooting down a couple and then looking at the number and just kind of count them off on your hand. So we have a total of 4 positions that are greater than 4. If I wanted to kind of do that up here, it's just kind of skipping every other number. And I just kind of tick them off just so I know which ones to look at. And it's like, nope, yes, nope, 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 yes, yes, and yes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and now the final sum for the check digit. Now, the final sum for the check digit, don't forget, after that, I'm supposed to add that sum back up here. All right, so that's basically right here. I'm adding these 2 values to get 93 and 4 would be 97. So that's my final sum for the check digit. Now, after that, I'm going to go ahead and calculate what the check digit should be. Just like for UPC codes, to validate a UPC code, to validate a credit card, you're calculating the check digit. So I'm going to say my check digit. I'm going to round that up to 100, and then so it's 97 plus what is going to give me that 100, and that is a 3. So my check digit is 3. Look at these 2 numbers right here. Sure enough, they match, and so we have verified that our check digit is supposed to be 3, like it's asking up there. Next one, number 3. Show that the check digit D for the MasterCard is supposed to be 8. So kind of same process again. All right, so I'm going to come back over here, and we're going to go ahead and set up a new one on New Document, and no, I don't want to save it. All right, just so we can see the process for how to set one up again. And again, in the first column, you're putting your credit card number. Right? In this case, our credit card number, right, is at 5126 8461 9902 and then 234. All right, so there's all of our 15 digits, right? And again, for that second column, that's where our weighted sum list is going. So 2, 1, and so on down the list. A little too far. And there we go. Good enough. And now, in column C again, we're going to multiply that weighted sum list times that first column, right? We're multiplying this column here times this column here. And that's going to go right there. So again, that we're going to put equals, and that is A1 times B1. So it's the exact same thing we typed in last time. All right? And again, you're going to get that little plus sign, and you're going to click here in the middle and hold for a couple seconds, and then drag it down. All right, so click there in the middle, hold, and then just kind of drag it down. All the way down to 15, hit enter, and it'll finish copying for us. And sure enough, there's all our formulas. Right? You can kind of see them down here, just in case you're wondering what's in the cell. And scroll all the way down to the bottom, and that's where we're going to do our sum. SUM, and this is from C1. And again, to get that colon, it's right there with the question mark, exclamation point, and it's in that second one in the bottom. All the way to C15. Okay, hit enter, and our sum is 98. So I come back over here, our sum is 98. And now the number of odd places bigger than 4. All right, so again, if we wanted to look at the spreadsheet, we could look at it there. If we just want to look at the number here, that's fine. Every odd position. All right, and it's like yes, nope, yes, 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 no, no, and no. So that would be a total of 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, if I were to look over here, I don't mind doing it either way. Again, I'm just looking at the odd numbers over here. That tells me the odd positions. And I'm just looking at the value for that number. So that would be a yes, no, yes, yes, yes. That was a no there. And no. And no. So again, that's a total of 4 of them. Okay. And again, down here, we're going to add these two. So 98 and 4 gives us 102. And we're going to round that up to 110, right, for the next number that ends in 0. Right now, we're trying to find our check digits, right? And so 102 plus what is giving us that 110, and that would be a total of 8. So I look at here, look at the one they gave me. These two match, and so yes, we have validated that the check digit is supposed to be 8. Okay. Next one. What is the check digit for this one? All right, so for this one, we actually got to go through and find out what the check digit is. They don't tell us what it is. All right, so again, we're going to go back over to our calculator. Now, just like UPCs, at this point, I can say, you know what, I have this whole thing here set up, right? The 212121 never changes, right? These formulas out here never change. Right, and the calculation for the sum never change. The only thing that's going to be changing is these numbers over here. Furthermore, don't forget, you've also got to go back and count those odd positions that are greater than 4. But for right now, I can just kind of come in and type in those numbers. All right, so that's the 5424, 54, 5424, 9813, 2720 and 008. All right, and now when I type all those in, again, one of the things we use the formulas over here for is notice they are all automatically updated, right? 9 times 2 is 18, 4 times 1 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. If I had just typed them in manually on the last one, then I'd have to go back and manually type them in again. And again, even your sum down here, remember it was 98 last time, now it's updated again, and it's 84. All right, so I know my sum is 84. All right, so just like the other one, I got to go through and count the odd positions. Whether you want to do it on the number itself or over here, that's fine. There's an odd position, that is greater than 4, so that is 1. Scoot down, nope. Scoot down, yes. No, 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 yes. And that was it, right? So there are technically 3 of them that are greater than 4, right? Just kind of marking that over here so you can pick which way you want to do that. That one right there. And so it's yes, no, 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 and yes. So there's our 3, right? The final sum for the check digit, 84 plus 3 is 87. And then we're going to round that up to 90. And so it's 87 plus what gives us that 90, and that would be a 3. And there's our check digit. Nice and simple. Next one. All right, and again, for this one, we want to find the check digit. So we're going to go through the process again and find that check digit. All right, so come back over here. And again, I've already got everything typed in. I just got to update my number. All right, and so that is 4716. 623 97277 946, right? And that gives us our new sum down there. And again, everything should be updated correctly because we used formulas. All right, so we come all the way down to the bottom. My new sum is 123. All right, 123. And again, kind of tick off every other place. That's the first and third one of every set. All right, so that's a no, no, yes, 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 and yes. So that one had a few of them, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, all I'm doing is I'm going through and marking the odd positions and making sure or counting how many of those numbers are bigger than 4. Right? I'm looking for bigger than 4. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, these are the numbers that I'm counting. So that's why 4 was not. So there's a 6, a 7, a 7, a 9, and a 6, right? So there's 5 of them that are bigger than 4. So I'm going to add those together. 123 and 5 is 128. Round that up to 130. And then it's 128 plus what gives us that 130 for my check digit, right? And so that would be a 2. And so my check digit here should be a 2 out there. Okay, that should make that credit card number valid. All right, number 6, show that this number right here is an invalid American Express credit card number. So if they're telling us that it's invalid, then technically this check number or check digit number out there should be wrong. Okay, but again, we're going to do this the same process, right? And we're going to calculate our check digit. Well, we're going to find the actual one and then show that it's not 9. All right, but again, the same process, we're going to use those first 15 numbers. Again, you never use the check digit for a calculation part. That's just for verification. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go in here and type in my new numbers. Now, I'm going to go through it one more time, just set up a new one, just to make sure we got it. All right, so I got a blank spreadsheet, and I'm going to type in my number. All right, so that is 3412 2565 7246 5579. Right? Whoa. And take off that check digit. Right? I just wanted the first 15, but I was reading off the number. There we go. Let's go to the top and type in our weighted sum list, 2, 1, and so on down the list. A little too far there. And come back, verify, sure enough, everything is typed in. Okay. All right. And now, again, we're going to go through, and again, I want to multiply these two cells together. This one is in A1, and this one here is in B1, and so that I'm going to put an equal sign. You always put an equal sign to do multiplication or any kind of function anytime you want to do math. So that's A1 times B1. Okay, be very careful with those. All right, and so again, on your calculator, you get that little plus sign, and you are going to click in the middle over here and hold for a couple seconds, all right, and then you'll be able to arrow down. Now for me, I'm going to go ahead and click in the middle and hold for a couple seconds, and then I can start to arrow down. 15, and hit enter. All right, and I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom. You can see the formulas down here. They are updated. All right. And that is equals to, and we need to do the sum of that column. So that is from C1 to C15. Right, and again, that colon right there, the two dots, you get inside there. All right, and there it is right there. All right, and so I hit enter, and my sum comes out to be 99. Now, this is a 99. Now, obviously, 9 plus 99 is not a 0 because we still have not done any of this stuff here, not to mention this is supposed to be invalid in the first place. All right, so next thing we got to do is go through and count our odd positions that are greater than 4. All right, so odd, 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 odd. One thing that students do have trouble with, I'm not saying that, I know 3 is odd, 1 is odd. The number 2 is not odd, but I'm not looking at the value yet. I'm just counting off the odd positions, like where it's located. All right, now once I figure out which ones are in the odd positions, right, where they're located, now I go back through and try and find the ones that are greater than 4. So 3 is not, 1 is not, 2 is not, 6 is greater than 4, 7 is greater than 4, 4 is not bigger than 4, greater than 4. That one is, and that one is. So if I count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 4 of them. All right, final sum for check digit, got to add them together. 99 plus 4 is 103. That rounds up to 110. Okay, so again, 103 plus what gives us that 110? And that would be a 7. All right, so my actual check digit should be 7. All right, but if I look at these two, they are not the same. And so we have shown that this is an invalid American Express card because the check digit should be a 7, but they're claiming up here that it's supposed to be a 9. Okay, so that's invalid. Number 7, suppose you entered an 8 instead of a 3 when recording the credit card number. All right, so if we look at this one here, it's kind of, let's say that one right there. Let's say we put in an 8 instead of a 3. Now, one of the things here we can look at is this is an odd position. And we got to remember the odd positions are getting multiplied by 2. All right, so 3 times 2 is equal to 6, whereas 8 times 2 is equal to 16. All right, so that could be one of the problems that we have, right? We're adding 16 onto a sum versus 6 onto a sum. All right. Furthermore, one of the bigger problems that we're going to have is when we go to count those odd positions that are greater than 1, 3 would not get counted, however 8 would. So that would increase our sum again by 1. Now these two right here wouldn't really make all that much of a difference, just because in the end we're rounding up to the next one. So like if I rounded up to 10, I would have to add 4 to get to 10. If I rounded this up to 20, as far as like a check digit goes, I would still again have to add 4. So the check digit wouldn't really change for that part. But definitely the fact that I wouldn't count one of them versus the other. All right, if I change this one to an 8, right, that is an even position. So for the evens, you're adding in the actual value it is. You're only multiplying it by 1. So you're, in one case, I would be adding 3 onto my sum. The other one, I'd be adding 8 onto my sum. All right, so the idea is if you switch one of these numbers, if you mess up one of the numbers, it can actually change your sum to find that check digit. Right, and so that's how the Codebar method would detect the error. It would change your sum for the check digit. Okay. And that would be it for this one.